Hello and welcome to What We're Watching. It's Catherine.
And Liz.
And Ed. And John.
Okay, so I wanted to start with, I'm watching a new half-hour comedy on ABC called Not Dead Yet, which stars Gina Rodriguez, who is delightful. It is in the spot right after Abbott Elementary, which I'm a huge fan of.
Oh, I just started to watch that.
Oh, you did? Well, I mean, enjoy. It's so good.
It is good, and it's good family-friendly watching.
Oh, that's true. Yes, it is.
And I'm watching that on Hulu, so no commercial breaks. Boom.
Oh, I'm kind of jealous. Well, normally what I do is I have it set up to record, so I'm watching it off my DVR, and then I'm fast forwarding through the commercials anyway.
I mean, the big takeaway, I'm watching with my son, who just recently basically watched most of The Office. He's like, this is The Office. I mean, there are elements of it that are very familiar, but I
mean,
I get
as a
it.
format, that's the quintessential.
He's like, she's Pam. She's Pam. That's he like just. I'm like, well, who's the Dwight? Like, but it's.
He also has a lot of other sitcoms to reference. Oh wait, maybe that is the only sitcom he has to reference.
No, not at all. But it is. You can.
I mean, it's that formula.
Yeah, I mean, the formula is similar.
Yeah, the fake documentary and the interviews to camera. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing in Abbott Elementary.
Still very enjoyable, and I love the little kids.
Oh, very good. I mean, I really love Abbott Elementary. It's one of my faves. I mean, I do absolutely enjoy particularly a workplace ensemble comedy where it's a bunch of random people together who don't seem like they should be friends or aren't friends.
But by circumstance.
Yeah, but are constantly together, and it causes havoc.
Or love.
Ooh, or love, yeah. So, okay, so anyway, Abbott Elementary doing incredibly well. So, of course, what a gift to be the slot that your show is right after Abbott Elementary.
A lead-in.
Now, I didn't realize that because I had seen a promo for Not Dead Yet, and I was like, oh, I'm intrigued. I kind of want to watch it. I do love a network comedy. So
I mean, and those are going by the wayside until you have something as creative as an Abbott Elementary.
Well, invigorates the genre. Yeah.
What was Gina Rodriguez in before?
Oh, she was in Jane the Virgin.
That's what kind of really put her on the map.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the premise is essentially if The Sixth Sense, the movie, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, was a comedy. So she is seeing ghosts, and it's funny instead of terrible.
And this goes to say one of the theories we've talked about is also writers and creators. So there's that other sitcom that just came out about a couple who moves into a house with a bunch of ghosts, right?
Oh, Ghosts, which is also hilarious, and I watched that, yeah.
But very typically, I'm actually surprised that show got made because executives, I'm not ratting you executives out, but they seem to have a lack of willingness to... There's another ghost show out. We can't do another ghost show.
Yeah, we can't do another ghost show, which is hilarious because it's like, how many doctor shows are there?
How many cop shows are there?
I mean, come on.
Jesus. So it's, So we've got 2 ghost shows right now.
And then didn't you hear there's like a new Netflix movie?
Oh.
We have a ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, there's another promo I just saw recently where it's also teenage about afterlife as well.
They're in a high school. Yes.
Dark comedy.
Oh, shoot. What is that called? I want to watch that. It's on my list.
I saw this promo. Wasn't it like...
Whoa. You watched a promo?
Not on purpose. It was probably your fault. Weren't they like, but how did I die?
Wait, we got to find it. Hold on.
Oh, you're looking
Welcome
up right now.
to
Great.
Dead Grassy High.
Oh, my God, Ed. That is a great idea. Yeah, there's like a support group in the promo.
Yeah, so it's like, hi, welcome to exactly like teen support grief group. No, dead group, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did you die? And I was like, oh, it's
definitely one of them is like a mystery murder thing is happening.
What the hell is the name of that show? We all watched the promo and no one retained it. I've put my search engine. I mean, this is really... not a search engine. It was like
mine is going directly for bad stuff.
Yeah, same here. It's like what's coming up. I'm like, oh God. I mean, so been teen shows about recently dead kids. It's like what? They're like, no.
There is also definitely
it's
like
horrible. We're not joking about that.
In teen show categories, I think Sarah Michelle Gellar's got a new show that's like the Wolf Pack or something like that.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not any help.
Okay,
I'm
well,
just saying as far as teen shows.
You tying that into a teen
supernatural.
show?
That's supernatural.
She's an ex-teen star, but now she's playing a mother of the teen pack. So
is she a mother in that show? I think she's a detective in that show. Well, whatever. I mean, I don't know.
She's not a slayer.
She's not a teen slayer. That's true. Okay,
Oh,
can I
that
get
sounds
back
like
to
an interesting concept.
Yes.
Teen slayer.
Can I get back to Not Dead Yet? Okay, so currently we do know for a fact that Not Dead Yet is an actual show that exists.
This is true.
Because I am watching it. So
Right.
All right, Gina Rodriguez is the main character. Her life is not going great.
Okay.
And she's now working at a newspaper. A friend from her past has helped her get a job at this newspaper, played by Hannah Simone. Isn't she from New Girl? Aren't you guys like huge fans of her?
Love her.
Okay. So Hannah Simone plays her very good friend, Sam, who helps her get a job at this newspaper. And the newspaper editor or like chief or whatever is Lauren Ash, who is from Superstore, playing a very different character. It's extremely fun, so that's good. I mean, we are already setting up a very fun office dynamic of quirkiness.
Okay.
Thrown into it, this character that Gina Rodriguez is playing, Nell, is writing the obituaries and then immediately starts seeing the ghosts of whoever she's supposed to be writing for. So also, that's a setup for wonderful guest stars. So, like, every episode, you're getting like one, sometimes multiple. It's great. And then the what?
Sorry. School Spirits.
There
School
you go.
Spirits. Ooh, that's
8
a good name.
episodes.
Is it available now?
And now, why any of us saw this promo, I don't know, because it's on Paramount Plus. So,
Well, I do get Paramount Plus. I'm going to watch that. Is it available now or what's the status?
I think it's available now.
Oh, I'm going to watch it. Okay, I'll report back on School Spirits. I'm totally into it. I love ghosts. Ghosts are a fun, particularly if they're fun.
Yes, it's saying it's supposed to premiere Thursday, March 9th on Paramount Plus. So,
Okay, soon.
Sorry you have to wait a teeny bit, but you're pretty much there.
All right, well, it's on my radar for sure.
And apparently we missed two people not dead yet. The Midnight Club. That was a Netflix show.
yes.
And then also there was a Hulu movie in December that was called Darby and the Dead.
Darby and the
So,
Dead. I
this
don't know
is-
that, but the Midnight Club I did try and watch and then I couldn't get into it.
Yeah. well,
Okay, so lots of shows about afterlife and ghosts.
And ghosts. Okay, let me get back again to Not Dead Yet. So
This topic isn't dead yet? Okay. Go on.
I feel like
I honestly
we
thought
barely even touched this topic.
I like knew. Oh, you said newspaper. I'm like, oh, she's definitely going to be writing the obituaries. I wish that she was writing the corrections. Actually, not dead yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So to round out the cast, she has a roommate who is played by Rick Glassman, who I love. He is playing a character who is on the autism spectrum, which is a, near and dear topic to my heart because of my son Adam being autistic. And Rick Glassman is on the spectrum himself. So I love when they use someone who's on the spectrum to represent people on the spectrum. I think that's very inclusive casting. He previously did a show that I watched called As We See It, which is about a group of young adults with autism living in a home together. That was a little hard for me to watch because it was topic-wise, it was not meant to be funny. It was like serious, which for me was a little not triggering, but it was just like, it was hard. So this is a lot more fun to watch him do this because he's doing more of a comedy character, which is fun with all the ups and downs of having an autism situation in terms of he's got a very prickly personality and doesn't get along great with his roommate. And she's learning about autism, being his roommate, which is interesting.
And they're dead?
No. That's just her living roommate. She has a roommate.
what?
This is separate from all of the ghosts that she sees.
Oh, right. She's alive.
She's alive.
Oh, my God. I can't
She's
follow this.
Not dead yet.
She is not dead yet.
Got it.
But she sees dead people. But it's funny.
I see dead people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. And last major character is another Office character played by Josh Banday. His name is Dennis. And he's a very fun, rounding out the Office quirkiness cast member. And then the last character in The Office that is hilarious is the intern played by Jimmy Bellinger. And he is very funny. So anyway, it's a little too late, but now the short version of it is that this show is very funny. Okay? So there you go.
What show are you talking
Not Dead Yet on ABC.
Okay.
And just a reminder, should they go back and watch Deadbeat with our favorite Tyler Labine about ghosts?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Deadbeat.
John,
is
what
crazy.
are you doing?
All right, moving on to the next show. Here we go.
Deadbeat. What was that other one?
How about, did you watch Pretty Little Liars?
what? No.
That's always about a dead girl, like that right from the get-go.
No, but not a ghost. There's
This
not
kind
a
of reminds
ghost
me
in
of
there.
Veronica Mars because
Oh
it's
my
about
God.
like a murder to begin with.
Oh my God. Anyway, all the way back, I'm just going to say, not dead yet. Gina Rodriguez, very fun. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
It's on ABC, and I believe you can watch it on Hulu as well. So there you go. It's a really good companion to Abbott Elementary. So good for them. All right. The other thing I'm watching is Ginny and Georgia on Netflix, which it's in its second season. And I had previously watched the first season when it first came out, which was, I don't know, like a year ago or whatever. And it was fine. I feel like it had kind of a half comedic tone. It's an hour long, I would have said dramatic comedy or dramedy previously, about a young mother and her daughter and their sort of tumultuous
It's like
relationship.
hugely successful on Netflix.
It's huge right now, this second season. And this second season is much more dramatic. I don't know if I'm that into it. I mean, it's kind of like they are really hitting some hard topics where I'm like, it was surprising this second season. I was like, wow, they're really swinging for the hard stories. I'm like, I don't really want that, but okay. So, John, you would love this. It's a lot of teen angst and romance. It would drive you insane.
I mean, look, I don't know that I deserve to be singled out for that. On the other hand, do I choose to not watch any of those shows? Yes.
I mean, you know, lately I've had a real problem with the trope of the problematic teenage girl. Whereas, like, I feel like so many of the shows I watch recently, that is a character on full effect, and they make such dumb decisions that set off potentially world catastrophic events because they weren't into it. I want to walk home alone. Ah! You're like, oh my gosh. I mean, I love The Last of Us, but I mean, there are really moments like, you are being chased by zombies. Stop being a little pill. Really, Joel? Okay, Joel. Joel, why can't I have a gun, Joel? I'm not going to listen to you, Joel. You're like, why don't you die then? You're our only hope for humanity, supposedly. And you act so blasé. Sorry, I just got
Blasé.
a million spoilers. So, yes, that's not just a John thing. Then I cannot watch that show.
It's not exactly that type of annoying teenager. It's much more like, they're almost like they watched Euphoria and thought, maybe we should do more of that. It's so it's not
Euphoria
extreme.
is the...
Yeah.
When I watched the first season, my son was much younger, whereas Rosie, our sister, had boys that were kind of right that age. And I said, I don't think you should watch it. I mean, ignorance is bliss. I mean, this is what's going on in the teenage world. This is alarming. I mean, as a parent, you need to know, you need to talk to your teens, but I don't even need to watch a show as entertainment about it because it is hell of disturbing, some of the stuff that goes on.
I think this is the lighter version of that, but they definitely are trying to be like, I mean, spoiler alert, I'm not going to say who, but there's self-harm storylines. There's storylines about romances that are not good.
Oh, romances that aren't good.
Inappropriate or not good?
No, I mean, like, people break up and then they're pining for each other and then, unhealthy. It's
Fixation.
yeah. And
Okay.
not wanting to move on and being super sad about it. And then there's other multiple storylines about body images problems and, all this stuff that you're like, oh, okay. I mean, yes, this is teen angsty stuff. And then the mother character in this is the other main story that's going on. She was a very young mother, so that's this main daughter who's in high school. She has a second child by another guy. Both of those fathers are kind of on the scene, and that's all complicated and weird. She's done some criminal things in her past, and now they're really coming back to haunt her. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, and then this is going to sound ridiculous, but they're graphic. Ginny and Georgia, they have not
It
changed.
looks fun. I thought it was a fun show.
Exactly.
I am shocked because actually, and also our sister Virginia does like it and watch it, right? And Virginia doesn't normally like heavy, disturbing television. So I've always been like, Ginny and Georgia. I'm like, I'm not into this light
Yeah.
mom and daughter romp. And now you're telling me it's dark and all these layers.
The problem is, I think they're trying to go dark, but really the core of what they started doing was light. So they don't really know how to do it exactly.
Okay, I just went to Netflix and it's like number 9 in TV shows today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the mom who is Georgia, right?
Yes, the mom is Georgia.
She looks like she's holding a cell phone with a Carmen Miranda, like the detective, Carmen Sandiego, hat. Like, she just found out about a major crime that she's going to solve. It's so not an accurate picture of I wouldn't be able to guess at all. I mean, that is true of most of these little screen grabs, but that is kind of misleading.
Well, also what's going on is the mom character has a very thick and sort of over the top Southern accent, and she's got a lot of energy, and she's really fighting things and blah blah blah, and you're like, it worked much better when it felt like it was supposed to be comedic. And
now the description is now scandalous, soapy teen.
That is accurate.
I'm like, that describes kind of what you've been saying. So,
well, I just want to finish saying this little thing about their graphic, their little Ginny and Georgia graphic. It's got the most light-hearted music little ditty that goes with it. It's like ding, 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 ding. And you're like, what? How is this? We've just had this crying Jag scene where we finally exposed it. Because, of course, again, spoiler, somebody reads somebody's journal and all shit comes out. It's like, okay. And then we have like a big breakdown. And then
no good ever comes from anybody reading someone else's journal. Like, it's a proven fact.
Anyway, so it's a very mixed review. It is doing incredibly well this season, too.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, another thing that you might hate, Liz, there's a lot of voiceover that is unnecessary of like, here's what I was thinking and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, no, I don't think we need all this voiceover. But that's what's going on with Ginny and Georgia.
Yeah, because, I always go to one of the shows I can watch over and over again, Sex and the City. And it really started with such heavy voiceover and direct to camera from not even the main characters.
What? I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. It was like people on the street giving comments about sex and their love lives and so on and so forth.
Like an interview quality.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the more that we got to know the 4 characters and whoever they might have been in relationships with, it's like that old saying, like, just show me. Like, you don't need to do the interior monologue. So usually sort of opened and closed with Carrie reflecting and writing her article as the device. But it got to be less and less over time because we, as a viewer, got to so know the character.
Yeah,
you could practically tell how they were reacting, what they were thinking. So, season 2, it should be a little less, but, it's a device that people use.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing that I should mention about Ginny and Georgia, the cast, I think they did a better job when it was more of a comedic thing or like a less trying to be dark. But I mean, they're doing an admirable job. They're trying real hard to
with
be
the material.
dramatic. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Brandy Howie plays the mom, Georgia, and Antonia Gentry plays Ginny.
Okay.
Lovely girl. Really working hard to make this seem real.
You enjoyed season 1, though.
I did. I mean, I was interested to watch season 2, and then it's been hard to get through, I will say.
All right. Also, sometimes I think the expectation, although they're only doing, I mean, when you think about what network television has to put out, right, to have a full series.
Oh, yeah,
run,
like a 22.
I forgot who it was, but it was very funny. Somebody got up and accepted an award the last few years. And like, oh, yeah, you who get to do 8 episodes. Was it Tina Fey?
No. Oh my gosh. It was Mindy Kaling and BJ Novak at the Emmys. And I think they were specifically saying it like to Mike White about White Lotus. Congratulations. Good job. Amazing what you can do with unlimited resources and only doing 8 episodes.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Because they've been longtime writers on network television and the delivery
right, for
is
sure.
like,
I mean, The Office, where I'm sure
it's like 30 episodes or something a season or something crazy or a full order.
And I'm sure like a shoestring budget compared to like an HBO going to Italy situation.
Right. Yeah, very true. So you kind of go like, you should be able to pull this off, but it's still difficult and the turnaround and the expectations are high.
Yeah, I think they tried to make a tone shift And even though the groundwork was there, like all of the stuff that they're paying off with some of this darker storylines was laid down in the first season, I think tonally it wasn't as serious. But maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. Anyway, and then the last thing that I wanted to throw out that I attempted to watch, I'm having some real duds.
Wow,
I know. I apologize.
Okay.
But for some reason, Eric, my husband Eric, somehow got this idea. I think it was because he's a big gamer. So he was talking to people on Discord or whatever. And they're like, that 1923, the Yellowstone spinoff, that show is amazing. You need to watch that.
Now,
And I
that's
think
with Harrison Ford, right?
that is with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. And I had also heard from another friend that really enjoyed it. And so we're like, okay, let's get into it. So we have watched 2.5 episodes. So John is kind of annoyed with me because, like, is that enough to make an assessment, whether you like it or not?
I heard this assessment after 1 episode.
No, it was already 2 at that point.
So how many lies have you told about this?
No, none. No lies. None whatsoever.
So this is from Taylor Sheridan, who wrote Yellowstone, and this is sort of the origin story of the Dutton family.
Right. This is the
okay.
second spinoff.
This is
Yeah.
the mid-origin story, because didn't they realize that they wanted another origin story, because isn't there 1889
Yeah,
also?
there's an earlier one.
Just making sure.
Yes.
1883. I don't think it's 18.
Oh, right. I got the Netflix show mixed up.
There's
right.
a-
It's
there's a-
1899.
There's an 1899 Netflix show, which I also tried to watch, and then I can maybe get into that a different time. This is too many numbers, also. I'm not...
So the other one was 1883. So back to 1923. Go ahead.
1923. Okay, so we watched the first 2 episodes. I think we watched them like back to back, like in one sitting. Yeah, for me, it was just this is going to sound so stupid, but it was way too much horseback riding and discussing of where we're going to graze these cattle. I mean, that was like the whole thing. Or it wasn't the whole thing. It was 2/3 of it, because the other third was a story about a school for Indigenous young women, and that was horrific. So I was like, oh my God, what is this story? This is really difficult, that element of it. But yeah, the rest being mostly about not even ranching. I was under the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, that Yellowstone was a lot more soapy and a lot of like big dramatic things happening.
Oh.
They're not always just talking about the ranch and the horses, are they?
I mean, they do. They are riding horses and they are talking about the ranch, but it is very soap opera, very high stakes. I mean, a building will blow up and the next day it's like, we're fine, moving on. I mean, huge.
And relationships. Is it relationship stuff?
Oh,
or
yeah,
no?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Yellowstone is, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, we are multiple seasons into that and I've basically watched the entire thing. I started, it was like about 2 years ago because someone highly recommended it. Yes. I mean, there are complete absurd elements of it that you're like, what in the world? I mean, they are a huge criminal enterprise. The Dutton family is also a way to put it. I mean,
okay.
Their morals are very scrupulous, but it's always to save the ranch and the land. So everything that gets in their way is fair game. But it has very dark elements and very disturbing elements because you're dealing with high stakes murder, rape, espionage, practically. Like, it's insane.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
and God forbid a ski resort comes in. So, I mean, it's really...
Well, 1923, they are laying the groundwork for the family having some moral ambiguity where if it's important for the ranch, then you're going to hang some people. It's like, what? Oh, okay. All right. So, and that was only in the first 2 episodes. Oh, you know what? I forgot. There is this whole other storyline, and I'm not sure who he is or who ends up being like Kevin Costner's father or like what the lineage is. But
John Dutton Sr.
Okay, I don't know which one that is at this point. Yeah, one of the characters is in Africa and he's like a big game, not hunter, but like protector. So like if you're on safari and there's a lion trying to I'm like, how is this somehow related? Why is this one member of the family in Africa? What is happening? Anyway.
It's like the Weasleys. That one brother was off training the dragons. So he only got mild references.
With the dragon training.
Yeah, okay.
Now that actor, very handsome, but I don't know if that's enough for me to keep watching this show. So we did attempt to watch the third episode and got about 20 minutes into it, and we're like, we need a break. So we're on pause. We have paused 1923. That's our status.
And this was your first entry into the whole Yellowstone.
I don't know why
universe.
this was our first entry, but yes.
Well,
this
because it is
somehow...
Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. I mean, these are
Exactly.
two huge iconic movie stars willing to do an episodic television
And
series.
what's his-
Legitimately, if there's anyone that you should be able to start in the middle of a franchise with, it's Harrison Ford. Star Wars. Just right in the middle. Episode 4.
That's true,
Go for
yeah.
it.
Just do it.
Well, and especially if you love westerns,
Which
Or
I
if
don't. Yeah.
You don't.
So
then-
what the hell am I doing? But it is a lot of Harrison Ford riding horses. So if that's interesting to you,
That sounds awesome.
and also Helen Mirren shoveling muck. So that's another
Oh,
exciting. You're like,
Lord.
what? The whole ranch life in 1923 seems not
Well,
appealing.
the
Isn't
one
that
thing-
much better in Yellowstone.
Well, I was going to say, the one thing Yellowstone has absolutely determined for me, there is no way I'll ever be a rancher. It looks just way up early,
No thanks.
going to bed way early.
No thanks.
If you're not in the main house, you're in the bunkhouse with a bunch of people in bunk beds.
No
Hell
thanks.
no.
You're ready to sign up for like City Slickers, sponsored by Hilton.
I would have to be on a constant allergy pill between the horsehair and the dust and it just I watch it and I'm like, yes, a weekend would be kind of fun, but the Duttons don't want you there for a weekend. Get the hell out of our state. So it's
First night you're there. We're having a branding ceremony. Actually, I may need to leave right now.
Goodbye.
yeah, so there's very much, I've watched Yellowstone with appreciation and a complete realization that absolutely not. No. I don't think I'd want to go back further to like 1923 or God forbid 1883, and we're taking away even more modern amenities, and so it's more horse muck. Claritin doesn't even exist. I don't know how I'd survive. So I don't know. I don't know if I can handle it.
Oh, the guy in Africa, he needs a shower. I mean,
Yeah, and you
there's
know
nothing
how
going
much-
on.
there's
I
two-
don't understand.
The two of my things that drive
He
me
is
crazy:
so
constant
sweaty,
wetness,
yes.
or like the level of dirt, and then especially if the level of dirt leads to a love scene. I am like the yeast infection that's going to come
Oh,
from that alone. I can't take it. It's like no, this is the no. No woman loves any man or wants any man that badly. They're like, oh my God, you've been out, riding a horse for a week, or you've been out hunting a lion for a month. You haven't bathed, but I can't wait for you to take me.
Yeah. I mean,
yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Yes, I can. Well, I mean, the only thing is this actor who is playing the character who is in Africa, he is very handsome and he's very dirty and sweaty.
James
but I know
Badgedale. I mean, the name alone.
that's not the one that's in Africa.
Who is in Africa?
Okay, I'll figure it out. Hold on. Let me look. Okay, so the one that's in Africa is played by Brandon Sklenar. I think that's how you say it. I don't know.
All right.
He plays Spencer Dutton. And
Yeah, he's pretty attractive,
he's well, look,
he'd still have to take a shower.
Yeah. I don't know. So anyway, 1923. Not for me. It's been paused. So okay, all right. Who wants to talk about something else?
So
What?
your evaluation of the
Oh my God.
1923 is not the roaring 20s, the boring 20s. Got it.
Well, what they're doing, not so roaring.
I'll jump in here. Guess what? I watched another stand-up special.
Oh, cool.
I do enjoy them. It's like
They're
an
great.
hour of jokes. This one was Nate Bargatze, Hello World.
Oh, okay.
His new special on Amazon Prime. And he is like, a really low-key storyteller where like you're enjoying your version of whatever his story is. Like he's telling you, yeah, I did this and, I'm not that smart. So then immediately they're like, oh, yes, tell us how dumb you were. But it was theater in the round, which I hadn't seen on any of the other specials. They were all straight up like stage performances. And it just kind of pulled me back to like, I don't know, 20 or 30 years ago watching like a Howie Mandel special or a Robin Williams special where they're just like walking around, engaging with the audience, like pointing to people and talking. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it was really fun. And, all the success to Nate. I think my favorite part was hearing his daughter pronounce his last name so that I knew how to pronounce it for the
nice.
podcast. She introduces him in the actual special. She like announces him on the mic as he's going out.
Oh,
My
that's cool.
dad, Nate Bargatze. I'm like, now I know how to pronounce it.
I have seen him doing some press around this special coming out and also seen a clip. So, first of all, I think he's really seems like a nice guy, and part of his bit is he does kind of a clean show, which is, nice. And I guess, I don't know how I saw this clip, but he does a very funny bit about his sister is 10 years younger than him. And he's like, basically she was raised by different parents. And it's funny because the four of us, we, the older ones, definitely feel like, yeah, you had kind of different experiences of our family and our parents just by the age difference. So it was kind of a funny, like, very relatable thing with the sibling story.
Yeah. And he has fun with his current age right now. He's a little bit younger than me, but he's, in his mid-40s, and he's got a bit of gray. So he's constantly playing up the oldness while simultaneously, like, making a joke about, like, yeah, I'm young. I'm wearing, like, this jacket. I can hang out with, like, 20-year-olds. Some 45-year-old guy walks up. Get out of here, old man.
Yeah.
It's very easy comedy to watch.
Yeah, just seeing him promote this, I wanted to watch it. So I need to make sure that I do because it sounds really good.
Highly recommend that one.
All right, cool.
And I only had one other one I was bringing this week, which isn't particularly fresh, but I watched Jordan Peele's Nope.
Oh, Nope.
Which, given I'm not a horror movie, aficionado, and I will watch, thrillers and scary stuff, this is it. This is how you're supposed to do a scary movie. That's the character I want to be the main character, someone who's got the same opinion as me, looking up and seeing the terrifying thing. Nope, I'm going inside. That's not
This is terrible. I don't want this.
We're not doing that.
Wait, Liz, is this the movie that accidentally your mother-in-law went to thinking she was seeing
Top Gun? And so at a certain point, the previews are done, the movie has started, it's like 20 minutes in, and she leans over to my husband because it was that Tuesday special that he just cannot seem to get right. She said, is Tom Cruise in this movie?
He's flying the cloud.
And Mark had said, because they had figured out when they got there, like, oh, the timing's not going to work. And they thought she understood that they had decided to go into Nope instead.
a different movie?
But nope, she did not. And she really didn't figure it out.
It's a particularly weird movie title if you're trying to switch something up on someone at the last minute. We're going to go see Maverick. Now we're going to go see Nope. I didn't quite follow that sentence.
Yeah.
Well, then when she actually did see Top Gun, it's like, yeah, from pretty much the first opening scene, it is real obvious that it's Top Gun.
I would wonder how many minutes there isn't Tom Cruise in that Top Gun. Like, she was 20 minutes in going, just one frame, and then I know we're in the right movie.
It would make zero sense he was going to pop out in the middle of Nope in a fighter jet.
Driving the cloud. What are you talking about?
My
That's
God.
why it's so weird.
Yep.
Okay,
Right.
I still have not seen Nope, and I do want to see it. Where did you see it?
I saw it on Peacock.
Oh, okay. I probably need to get on that.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
What? Me? No, not me. Okay, so I watched a couple things. One of which was on Peacock. It was Tar.
Nice.
Tar. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Cate Blanchett was amazing. You always wanted to see that much about a conductor. You're like, these people are real interesting. They're conducting. What is that?
Well, that's because as a kid, everybody thinks it can be a conductor.
Just keep waving your hand around.
yes.
Pointing at things, going up with your hands.
But you don't realize that that's only one of her hands. And the other hand is controlling the flow of time.
Wait,
Holy
what?
shit.
What are you
She's
talking
I don't
about?
know.
Magical.
You're going to have to watch it.
Okay.
But that's what she talks about. And I don't know if that's actually how conductors operate, but that's apparently what she says.
Well,
that she
Cate
does.
Blanchett is magical.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough. You're talking about someone on top of their game. Oh, turns out at some point you became kind of a bully and doing some terrible things. But you didn't really think you were. And so then, it's going to fall apart on you. And then you're going to kind of lose it. All right. So that was challenging because you're like following them at the top of your game. You're like, right, okay, well, no, that other person's wrong. Oh, wait a minute. No, they were right. We are wrong. This is bad. But then it kind of just keeps going. And you're like, oh, do we know what people's motivations or where their consequences or their new emotions? Nope, we don't know that. It's over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it did a little funny joke at the end about where she ends up, but that's about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just the acting in it, the way it's portraying this world is amazing. And there's a couple moments that are kind of confusing, and I think they are purposefully so. I don't know if there's a scene in the beginning that then you realize maybe when you get to kind of around the middle or 2/3, you're like, oh, maybe that's now? Or was that then? Which character's viewpoint were we seeing that from?
Oh.
So that was a little interesting because there's definitely sometimes where you're taking a step back and you're observing what's happening, because most of the time, the lead character is Kate Blanchett, so that's who your viewpoint really is. Then sometimes you're, I'm looking at that from outside, and really, what does that look like, or what abuse, quote unquote, or what thing that's she doing that's perhaps not above board. But otherwise, you're really, following along, and it's pretty amazing. It really feels like you're in that world, which is not something I knew a lot about. Also, you've got Nina Haas. You find out that's her wife, and, they have a kid together, who we remember from Homeland, that German agent. She's so good. This was definitely, it was like, you're supporting, but maybe not supporting. I don't know. You really didn't get the true, where she lies in this world. And then you also got Mark Strong.
Oh, he's one of my favorites.
It was a real enjoyable one. You didn't get a lot of him, and you also didn't understand. I don't think I missed it when they introduced. It was like, he is a fellow conductor, but he's also maybe, it says here, an investment banker, which you definitely didn't get. But it was like, the fund or the group or something that's maybe bankrolling multiple aspects of, or at least one or two of her life. But then he's like very, they're not nemesis or whatever. He's like, less than as a conductor, but one's definitely trying to help me out. What about this? What if I do the same thing as you? And you're like, okay, which she's not into. Those 2 or 3 scenes are very fun and lead to, help in the climax of the movie.
He's so good. He was in all the Kingsmans and Sherlock Holmes and
Yeah, he's
Cruella.
great.
Yeah, so I love him.
So there you go. Look, it's an important one. It's, very leading some of these races, if not winning a lot of them. So you're going to have to see it.
All right. Big awards contender for sure.
The other thing I saw, but you're going to have to see in the theater for now, is The Whale.
Oh, The Whale.
Whew, that is... look, Darren Aronofsky he's all over the place if you look at those movies. This one is, the tightest focus, the most mundane. You're in this guy's apartment. You really don't leave it. It's amazing. It's really... it's heartbreaking. It's really tough. The start is a little slow because you sort of know what you're getting into, and you're like, what is going to happen? But then once you're into it, it's just brutal, but very, very good.
And so Brendan Fraser, who's getting nominated, you think well warranted? And because he seems to be a front runner, really.
Yeah, look, it's tough because you don't. It feels very, awards type centric and certainly not uplifting in any way, really. But it's an amazing performance, absolutely. It's also a little tough when you focus just on his performance or, what's coming from him. There's, the beginning or maybe 2/3 of the way through, you're not getting really what he's feeling. You're definitely getting that he's putting on a show for whoever's with him or, whatever he's doing. And then you start to see a little bit of what he's really thinking or, okay, you're not just putting on an act for these other people in your life. So you understand a little bit more as you get into it. The other actors are incredible. Sadie Sink from Stranger Things is really good. Unfortunately, yes, a very irritating teenager.
Oh,
but
no.
Look, it felt fine in this. She wasn't driving world events, so it didn't cause a problem for me. Also, I did not realize as I was watching this, and now I can really see it. There's another, not quite teen, he's like a 20-something or young 20, Ty Simpkins, who one of my favorites from Iron Man 3 and Jurassic World, fantastic kid actor, has grown up. He did a really good job. It's not a fun part exactly. He's a little bit of a foil in the movie. It's not a strong villainous character or anything. It's just you're in opposition to some of these other people. But it was quite, to realize who it was like, I really enjoy what you're doing. I'm sorry that you're not still 10, but it's okay.
That does happen. People get older.
Yeah, then you had 2 other adults, Hong Chow and then Samantha Morton, and they were both very good. And you're like, yeah, I don't know what I would be doing in this situation. It's terrible. This is really bad. So they're, muddling their way through. They're not enjoying it either. So yes, you guys need to see that. I'm sure it'll be on streaming at some point, but at the moment, it's in theaters.
All right.
Last one, I'm sorry. I saw the other big one in the theater. Well, not the other one, the big one, though he's small. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Oh, okay.
Look, it's still Ant-Man. It's maybe not quite as fun as the first 2, but it's still a little fun. And, the quantum world and Kang are not exactly typical Ant-Man situations, but you're still very enjoyable Marvel situations.
Paul Rudd, he's so delightful.
Yeah.
Well, it's that multiverse, and as they get further away from some of the sort of anecdotal fun. I mean, actually, like out of shape, sad Thor was a very good twist because it was getting so serious, and he brought a levity to it for sure. And then Paul Rudd did the same thing because really Ant-Man is not a well-respected Avenger. Tony Stark will usually make some funny comments or so on and so forth. And that's always funny when they don't like appreciate another, like the Guardian of the Galaxies is another one. They don't necessarily appreciate each other. So I just think that first one was so charming because he was an everyman who became a superhero, but certainly didn't understand it or know how to handle it, versus Tony Stark, who was so savvy about it. So now you're in the quantum realm, which is when they went into that last time to basically find Michelle Pfeiffer's character. It was like, what is happening? All these weird little things floating around.
Well, it was similar to the way it was in the first one. And it was kind of what we were led to believe. You know, you can't survive down there. You know, you can't get out.
Where is the quantum realm? Down there. Where is it?
It's just, quantum. It's so small. It's
Where?
It's like, that saying like, oh, a world can exist in a grain of sand kind of a deal. Except this is a grain of sand compared to us. This is that small compared to that, I think.
What in the world?
Yeah, well, you should follow it more. It's so incredibly important. But yes, unfortunately, this quantum realm is a little bit more like Star Wars. It's like, oh, what? There's like many races and all kinds of universes and cities. And there's a cantina.
That's as long as there's a cantina, I was really excited.
Cantina? Oh, God.
Look, Bill Murray is fun in the cantina.
Bill Murray.
Yes. Okay. It did not it felt different than other Ant-Man and a different quantum realm than we had seen before.
Okay. All right.
I do want to throw a shout out because Michael Douglas is in this third one, right?
Look, it's very focused on that side of his family, which also, in a way makes sense for the story. He's not in the normal world where all these other people exist. He's in the quantum realm where he brought his fellow quasi-superheroes, that side of his family.
I was just going to say that between knowing that that's in the theaters, I've been watching the last two, so it's great to see Michael Douglas. I'm a big fan of his. But I did recently, in like the last 2 months, watch Jewel of the Nile and Romancing the Stone. Like,
fantastic.
They're still fantastic. Just go watch those right now.
Fantastic.
Highly recommend right now.
Jonathan Majors, who plays
Kang the Conqueror.
Right. He's just fantastic, and he's on fire right now.
Yeah, he's definitely, this is one of his like, oh, we're going to put you in a ton of things. And then they happen to come out right around the same time.
Yeah, all at the same time.
So I'm very looking forward to him in Creed 3.
Was the first time we all saw him Lovecraft?
That was when I became aware of him, for sure.
That was probably a breakout.
And that bummed me out. That was one season and done, right?
Yeah,
what
it was
the
good.
hell?
I don't know.
So good. And so the Creed promo. I mean, I think haven't even seen other Creeds, but now I'm like, oh my God.
You should. Creed has been really, really good.
I know. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, a childhood friend comes back.
No, I don't know. Stop.
Don't
say.
Oh, but Jonathan Majors, I mean, just in the trailer, I got so excited.
Well, and Michael B. Jordan is directing this one too.
Whatever. They're all so gorgeous and just beating the crap out of each other.
So, yeah, there's another one where he's going to be gorgeous, but I think that might be an issue.
He's such a good actor. Literally is one of those people you're like, I'm sure he was in some stuff that we didn't know about, but
of course.
He's just really come out strong.
We are forgetting there was another movie at the end of last year, Devotion, which was another plane movie, which also had Glenn Powell.
Yeah, he was a pilot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it wasn't Top Gun. And then he's got one coming out where he's like a bodybuilder. And I think, that's not all positive.
Oh.
But you might be seeing a lot of that body.
Oh.
I'm down for that. Okay.
It felt like that's what you were saying.
I can be down with the Jonathan Majors, just highly focused. Take your shirt off. I'm like all good. Yep.
Jonathan Majors does yard work for 2 hours.
I would watch.
In 3D, $45 a ticket. Liz is
I would
there.
watch. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Thanks, John.
Sure. There you go. That's what I did.
All right.
Just slightly, because I'm not going to go into depth about it because it's a little bit old, but on the Paul Rudd, I must have said it. My phone must have listened, or Netflix must have been listening, because then Living with Yourself came up as a suggestion.
That's a fun show.
Yeah. It's basically a burned out Miles decides to change his life by going to a spa one day. And it just, I belly laughed at some of the opening numbers, just his physicality when he realizes how wrong it's gone.
Yeah. It's double Paul Rudd. I mean, it's great.
Twinning Paul Rudd, love it. So just Living with Yourself is available on Netflix, 8 episodes. I don't know if it's coming back. I highly doubt it, but
no, because it's over a year old for sure.
Yeah.
So you would think that we would know by now.
probably not. He's pretty busy. Speaking of, we're talking about taking shirts off and hotness. So I went to see Magic Mike in the movie theaters.
Well, that's, yeah.
So Magic Mike, The Last Dance.
Is it The Last Dance?
Yes, his
though?
knees are tired.
His knees are tired.
I don't know.
Okay.
He would allude to the fact. So, basically the main character, Mike, played by Channing Tatum. And, he also produced this and he's very involved. He's really down his luck. I mean, in Miami, the COVID has really hit him hard. The furniture business is dried up.
What?
And he really doesn't know what he's going to do. So he's bartending a high-end party, and the woman that's throwing the party is really stressed out and needs to be relieved of her tension. And one of her friends who recognizes Mike as the bartender recommends, like, hey, why don't you have Mike dance for you? But he does not dance anymore. He does not dance. So it takes a lot of convincing. And I went with a group of 20 horny women. So it was...
How realistic was the sound? Were his knees like a little crackly? Was it like a...
Later
as he
on,
bent
I think
over?
he literally had like knee pads later on some scene. But I mean, like, no judgment. Because really there's two scenes. And I sat next to one of my girlfriends. I was like, when was the last time you got laid? Because she'd be like, oh my God. Oh my... Do men really look like that? I'm like, what is happening? So basically, shockingly, the character Selma Hayek plays, stunningly gorgeous in this. I mean, yeah. I mean, she's taking care of herself. So she just comes off. There's a scene. I'm like, Mike is going to keep it a professional dance. And I'm like, why, dude? I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, so her character is basically in the middle of a divorce from a billionaire. So she's got all this money, but she's frustrated and bored and can't find her meaning in life.
Oh, I mean, that's a tough situation.
And Mike's magic dance plus his dick basically solves that solution. So then the two of them...
It's a magic wand.
100%. Oh, that would have been the more classy way to put it. And Mike's magic wand gives her the cure that she needs. And it's directed by Steven Soderbergh. Him and Channing have a really good relationship when it comes to this. I mean, this by far is not the big stripper movie. I mean,
not like the show.
I don't even know if I don't even know if we saw a lot of dudes in G-string. And there was like almost male nudity, I think, in the second one. And the first was like, you're really watching male strippers. This was Mike's journey.
Oh.
And is he falling in love with this socialite as she basically sweeps him away to London, to her wealthy socialite world. And Max is her name in this. And Max has, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but she's inherited a theater and she doesn't know what to do with it. Because what's currently
I might
in
have
it
an
is
idea.
boring. Yeah, she comes up with an idea because every woman should feel what I felt and be transformed by the experience. And I gotta say, like 4 or 5 women that I was sitting with were. So I was like, yeah. So I was like, for sure. And so then it's sort of the bumps in the road that Mike kind of a bit out of place in London, but he is a very cool character. So he never really shows that he's uncomfortable out of place. And amazing male physiques and dancing. So that was all enjoyable, but like not even a lot of shirtlessness. I mean, that was like, come on. I mean, what do you think we're all here for? I mean, so that was a little like, And then, Mike is not going to dance in the show, but he's going to direct and choreograph it. So that's sort of his internal battle. And I'm not going to tell you how it turns out. But then it's really bookended by the dance with Selma Hayek. And then there's one at the end that is so gorgeous. The two bodies that are dancing with each other. Holy shit. There's a lot of wetness too. So once again, my girlfriend sitting next to me was like, my God. I can't take this. Oh my God. She's like, we have to go to Vegas to see the Magic Mike strip review. Would they do that in the show to me? Would they do that? And I'm like, I think so.
I hope not, actually, because that sounds terrible.
There's a special package you could buy.
Yeah, pun intended. But so I'm hoping she gets that package. So it's not great, but it is enjoyable. And Channing definitely, still can dance, but there were knee pads at a certain point. And Selma is just freaking gorgeous. And, I would say, there's all the other guys, you really don't even get to know them that well. So it's sort of, there wasn't the standouts like there was in the first few, where really you are going, okay. I don't really know him, but this character, the butler, the driver, the conscience of Max, was played by this British actor, Ayub Khan-Din. And he's a British writer and actor. It seems like, he's very well known in the British world. Thoroughly enjoyable. Cast him more American casting directors. And it just made you want to go to London. It was another thing where they just made London look absolutely clean, fantastic, like tourism, like it was a whole ad for tourism. So Magic Mike in the movie theaters. Or in your own home for pleasure, probably soon.
Or order it on demand if you can find it.
Yes.
Possibly. Watch it on your couch.
Yes. So then, speaking of sort of hot males, but doing less sexual things in their TV shows, is the show You.
Oh.
So we are season 4. They've dropped the first half of the season. So I just watched the first 5 episodes, and the character Joe, who is a psychotic stalker, but for some,
is he a stalker or a serial killer?
all the above.
Oh, okay.
Because he usually starts by stalking someone that he's obsessed with, and then inevitably it ends up he has to kill people.
That's what happens, of course.
But Penn Badgley is so good as Joe, but he had to leave the United States because things went so wrong in season 3.
Oh.
He's now living in London, trying to lay low as a professor. And of course, that does not work out. He kind of becomes obsessed with some, his neighbor. There's, of course, deaths. But what I was getting to was Penn in his real life basically said he wanted to have less sex scenes and less sort of like nudity or anything like that in this upcoming season. So there is not tons of it.
Yeah, that was interesting. I saw a little interview of him saying, I just realized I don't want to kind of really do that. So I approached the showrunner and said, is there a way we could not do as much? He's like, okay.
Yeah.
It was that easy. And I'm like, great.
Yeah, so it is less. It's still enjoyable because he's trying to be better. He's trying to get better. And he's really not good at it. Like it really... And now he's fallen into a world of like very wealthy socialites. And, he's kind of repulsed by the way they live their lives. So inevitably, it all goes wrong. So right now, all 5 episodes are available. And then the second half drops in early March. So, if you enjoyed the series, this is season 4, and it is Joe's in trouble again. So there you go. So I think that's all I'll share for now since we are, running out of time. So, I will just recap real quickly. I saw Magic Mike in the movie theaters. 2 bookend dance scenes are well worth it. And then I watched the first half of season 4 of You on Netflix.
All right. And I watched Not Dead Yet, which is an ABC comedy, which is on right after Abbott Elementary. A nice little combination there. Also, Ginny and Georgia on Netflix. And I attempted to watch 1923 on Paramount Plus, but I have stalled. So that's where I am with that. Okay.
And I watched Nope, which is available streaming on Peacock, and Nate Bargatze, Hello World on Amazon Prime.
I also on Peacock watched Tar, and then in the theaters watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, as well as The Whale in theaters.
All right. Okay. So that's it for this episode of What We're Watching. Thank you for listening. And please follow us on all of our social media at Podcast Watching. And that's it for this episode of What We're Watching.